Hello everyone, welcome to another unboxing. Today it's a board game, so it's something a bit different from what we normally do. It's normally miniatures, but in this board game they are miniatures. One of the many reasons I love this game is the fine detail in the miniatures, and one day I hope to paint them up. But of course you don't have to enjoy this game. This is Blood Rage. So if you like miniatures, you like Vikings, you just like a good time, why not pick up Blood Rage? Blood Rage is a fantastic game. So this is unboxing, so this has never been opened before, apart from me taking the shrink wrap off, because crinkly reflective materials are great on camera. But I have played this game before. I do love this game, not just because I've won a few games. I'm not biased at all. I just love the game. It is fantastic. It's really easy to play. I've known people of all ages to pick it up and have a blast. So here it is. This is Blood Rage, a game by Eric M. Lang. It is a Guillotine Games production. Let's get straight to the back of the box. It's a heavy old box. Smack the camera. That's a brilliant idea. Okay, so Ragnarok has come. The end of the world is upon us. But we are Vikings. There is no time for despair. It's a time for glory. Death is nothing to fear, for the glory of battle will earn you an eternal place at Valhalla at Odin's side. So, in this game, there's several different tactics, different ways to play. You can grab lots of land, and that's a great way to gain points. You can win combat, glorious combat, to gain points. Or you could be a little bit sneaky and actually allow your models to die and put all your stock into your men that go into Valhalla, and you get more points that way. So depending on what cards you pull, your tactics may change. You might want to go a bit land grabby, a bit combat based, or dying in glorious combat. You know, death isn't always the end. The following round your men will resurrect. They will come back from Valhalla. So it's okay, they will be back. And unlike the Sand People, not in greater numbers, they just will be back. But yeah, you can hire beasts. So you've got your giants here, you've got trolls, you've got dark elves, mythical sea creatures. So it's a fantastic game. You can, if you think that, oh, I'm going to lose this combat, you could put more points into, if I lose, then I'll get more points when my models are resurrected. Me personally, I have used an upgrade before on my ships. When they're destroyed, I gain so many points when they're destroyed. So I try to lose combat on purpose. But of course, you don't know what cards your opponents have. So they might want to win the combat. So it can be quite tricksy. Not tricksy to master or tricksy to play, but you don't know what your opponents are going to do. And that's the joy of the game. So in this box contains 49 highly detailed plastic miniatures. And they are pretty well detailed. We'll get to that in a second. 52 colour miniature bases. 7 plastic glory markers. 102 cards. 1 game board, which is always helpful. 36 tokens. 4 clan sheets. 2 support sheets. Now this is a game from 2 to 4 players. You can see that there. 14 up. Well, I reckon a few kids could play this younger than that. It's pretty easy to master. I would say 10 up, personally. There's models dying and things like that, but it's not gory like that. I mean, there might be a few cards that look a bit brutal, but, you know, kids have checked into a lot worse these days. And each game takes about an hour to an hour and a half to play, which I can vouch for. Me and my poor decision-making skills, I take forever on anything. You can still get it in an hour and a half. It's not a problem. But I say it's 2 to 4 players. There are kits out there, upgrade kits. It was originally on Kickstarter to increase the number of players to 5 to 6. And also there's extra monsters and stuff. But the core box will set you back, 55, 60 quid. Maybe a little bit more, depends where you get it from. But it's brilliant artwork all throughout the box. And it is a very good cardstock. very hearty. So, I will open the box off camera because I knock everything over and make a hell of a mess. And we'll get right to it. So, we have the rules of the game here. We'll put that to one side and we'll do that within a bit. And here we have our main card stock. So you can keep it in the little plastic Ziploc bags if you want to. I probably will because I end up losing bits everywhere else. If you would like to see more board games being played, things like that on our channel, feel free to put a comment, things like that. Because I mean, we do battle reports at 40k, and we're hoping to do more battle reports for like things like Star Wars Legion. At our local club at the moment, we're playing a lot of Warcry, which is a very popular game, especially with the latest releases. And John is doing some unboxing, I believe, as we speak. But yeah, if you want to see us have a board game night and mock each other relentlessly, because that's what generally happens, then yeah, put up a message and yeah, or any suggestions of board games. Not Monopoly. We don't want to stab each other. We might mock each other, but Monopoly will only lead in death. Right. Okay. So this is Valhalla. This is where all your models go when they die. So you place that on the table next to your main board. But everybody gets a clan sheet. So a clan sheet is, funny enough, for each unique clan. Funny enough, a raven is a raven, and my personal favourite, the bears. So each model will go with each individual house. So the bears, they generally have clubs. The ravens, they have spears. So each model is slightly different from the clan. Now, hammers and spears and swords and shields and things like that will not make a difference in the game. A warrior model is a warrior model. Doesn't matter what it's armed with. Doesn't get any additional bonuses. You just pick it on your colour or whatever looks cool. We'll get to that in a minute though. So each clan will have warriors and a leader. So you can only, when you first start the game, you're in this section, and obviously the more you level up, the more things you can do. So it says here that you can only put 4 figures on the map. So you can put 4 warriors, 3 warriors, and a leader. At the moment it's pretty boring, but you could always buy or hire in a beast. But you have your rage, and your rage, this bar here, and you always start on 6. Determines how many actions you can do in any turn. So in a whole turn, a whole round even, when you first start off, you can do 6. So 6, maybe you want to put your ship out there, which costs 2. You see the top corner there? It takes you right down to 4. When you get to 0, you cannot spend any more actions. So certain things are free. For example, pillaging is free. Going on a quest is free, but if you have no tokens, no rage, you're on 0, you still cannot perform these, even though they're free. So if you had 6, for example, and decided you wanted to pillage some ground, it doesn't cost you anything, you stay there. But once you're on 0, you can't do anything. So, you have rage, which we've discussed, means how many actions you can do, and obviously that will increase over the game. You have axes. Axes will give you glory points for winning battles. So if you wanted to kick the tar at somebody and kill the models and send them to Valhalla, you start off with 3 points. But later on in the game, the more of these tokens you gain, the more points. So you could potentially get 8 for every battle you win, which is great. And the horns, like I said before, how many models on the table? So you could put up to 10 models on the table in a game. So ship counts as 1 model, even though it's 2 points, 2 rage to put on the table. So it seems a little complicated, maybe the way I'm discussing it at first, but the way it plays is so simple. So you have your ages. Basically, there's 3 rounds in the game, and there's as many turns as there are rage. So if you run out of rage in the first turn, and the other people that you're playing against have ran a rage in the first turn, you all only get 1 turn. But as long as people have rage and they're able to do something, like pillage or put models out there, then the rounds keep going. So, the turns keep going until the round is complete. Once the round is complete, all your actions have been done. You now discard all the cards in your hand down to 1. So you get to keep 1 card every turn. And then you price up your quests. So if you're successful and you've managed to kill some models, or you've killed yourself, whatever your quest card says. So you might want to gain some ground, whatever your specific quest card is, and the goals you're aiming towards are achieved, you get points for that. And that's where the real points are. I mean, combat's great, you get a few little points, and you go around the edge of the board, like so. You see the edge of the board here, that's where your points are. So obviously everybody starts at 0. The more combat you do, obviously, the more points that go up. But it's the quests that are the big bucks. So in the first age, your models going on quests, things like that, will probably get 5 or 6 points. The second age, when you go up, the second age, they're more expensive quests. The third age, fair enough, more expensive quests again. So you can get up to 14 points for stealing some ground. So, if you think maybe you're losing the first age, when you come to the third age, yeah, it could all be changed around. Now, Ragnarok here happens randomly. So you pick a card, and the cards are the different grounds, the different places on the map, which will show you the map. The map and the board are all in one. Do this on camera without knocking anything over. So, glorious board. Look at that. I do love the artwork on this. So, let's say you wanted to grab some land here, and that's your quest. You get so many points for it. But at the end of the age, you pick a card randomly, and if that name comes up as Ragnarok, that's where Ragnarok will come down. So at the end of the next turn, any models left alive there will immediately be sent to Valhalla. But if your tactics want your models to be killed, and you want to be sent to Valhalla, then that's probably not a bad shout. So if everybody jumps on Ragnarok, you know what that probably their card is. They're probably going to get sent to Valhalla to die. And that's what they want. So, in each of these areas, I'm not going to butcher the names of the places. Let's give it a go, shall we? Holgar, Antlang. I'm going to butcher these names, and you're going to mock me for it. But I challenge you to do better. So, if you're good with your Viking names, you will love this game. So, in each of these sections, there'll be a random card put face down when the game starts. So, all these cards, when the game starts, will be turned up. And this might be axes, this might be rage, that might be more rage. And those are the tokens you get to improve your stats on your clan sheet. So remember, we had our clan sheet, we had our axes, we had our rage and things like that. These will improve when you raid and pillage places. So successfully, if you wiped off all enemies there, or there was no enemies in the first place, you're free to pillage that. It costs nothing, for example. You can have obviously different areas, and they all are free to pillage. Pillaging is free. Once all the combat's finished, you can claim that token, and that token may be an axe, which improves your axe ability, which is great. You get little bonuses as you go along. You can do more actions with rage. You can have more points in glorious battle, more models on the table. But you see here, at the end of the game, at the very, very, very end, if you're in this section, you get 10 extra glory just for being in that section, and you're there. Or 20 if you're in here. Which brings me to the only unique place on the map. Something seal? Yeah, I'm great with Viking terminology, aren't I? This one here contains one of each. So one axe, one rage, one horn. If you manage to get the center, then you get one of each. So the person I normally play against, Phil, he's very, very tactical. He'll stay in the center and he will keep grabbing that token every age. So if he's there for 3 ages, that's 3 of each. So it really does stack up his ranking. But this is the Tree of Life. You cannot start here. You can drop your warriors or your beasts all around any of these areas on the outside, but you cannot drop them in there unless it specifically says you can. Certain monsters allow you to do so. But if you're in these places, you can move into there. That's not a problem. The only trouble is, it's a free-for-all. Because it's worth so many points, people try to grab that. People are welcome to jump into the fight and they're surrounding you. So it's a hell of a brawl for the Tree of Life to get those points. But it is worth it. It's a fantastic game. Really do like it. So it can be quite tactical, can be very brutal. If you want to go all combat based, it is such a laugh. Right, I will now get to the miniatures, the bits you really want to see. Okay, so miniatures, like I said, they're all slightly different. You have a model with a spear. You may have a model with an axe. But basically, what determines the difference is the colour on the base. So you notice none of these are obviously, they don't come painted. But if you are the bears, for example, you would have brown bases. So these little tokens will sit on the feet of your base. They'll slot in just like so, and you know those are the bears. And then you have your leader. Your leader will be the only model that's different in your force. So you notice that all of the spear guys contain spears, for example. Funny enough, and your leader will look different because this is the bears. You can tell there's a bear totem. That is your leader. So your leader can be placed on the board for free. And he is slightly better in combat. Brilliant. Not a problem. But remember, once they get sent to Valhalla, they're in Valhalla until the end of the age. Unless you have a card that determines otherwise. And here you also have your little ships. Your Viking ships. Which, funnily enough, cannot be placed on these circles like so, because that's land. They can only be placed here. But the joy of being placed in those areas between land is, if someone wanted to fight here, you can always join in. Someone wanted to fight here, you can always join in. Sometimes you have spear guy, spear guy, spear guy, and spear guy. And you were next door, and you had all your axes in these spots. Now you can only join in that fight with the number of spaces left, which means even if you had 4 guys in this region and they wanted to pillage that land and you wanted to join in and stop them, you could only jump in that viable space there. But with ships, what happens is the ships can always join in even if this area is blocked. So that's why ships are worth 2 points. So these coloured rings are the way you can determine different miniatures from another if you don't want to paint them. So you can see that these guys from a distance, especially with the camera, they all look the same until you get close and you can see that's an axe. So we have the Raven clan here, which are blue. So you can see they have spears on their pictures and that's what they're equipped with. So these will fit really snugly into the bases. Can't even swivel. See how tight that is. Amazing. And they will fit nicely into the trays even with the bases on. So what I'm going to do is put all the bases on and put them in the trays, so it's just easier for next time, so you haven't got to worry about tokens each time you set the game up. But these grey miniatures. Why do they not have bases on? Because these are the monsters. These are the heroes of legend that you can hire. They're like queens of the underverse. They're white, the undead. They're giants. They are beasts. And let's say I'm a red clan, and I want to hire her, and I've got the correct card. Then you can put them on the base, like so. But there's no point in putting it in the tray with the red base on, because next game someone else could hire them, and there might be House Raven, which is the blue token. So I will be putting the bases on these guys, but it just, everything feels so well made. You've got these tiny little tags in here which firmly allow the model to be clipped in, not a problem. These larger bases, as you can gather, are for the larger creatures. So for example, we have a sea creature here, a huge sea serpent, massive, and the detail is fantastic. I do love the waves there. Like I said, I really look forward to painting these up. And the mould lines really aren't so bad either, because I can barely see a mould line there. So it's hard plastic. There is a bit of flex to it, so it's not going to crack or break. They are quite resilient, and these also fit in trays as well. But remember, they also clip into these bases really securely. It's going nowhere. So you have to put quite a bit of effort into clipping them off for next time. So there we go. So everything's really nicely made. The card stock's fantastic. The main map, highly detailed. The miniatures, I really do like the miniatures. I know your warriors, you might have 8 warriors that all look the same and then 1 leader, but they are quite nicely detailed. So, I mean, this is the monster. You know, the waves, quite good definition there. Let's pick a random model here. So we have someone with an axe. So you can see their pelts there. It's got a bit of a mohawk, the knotwork, the Celtic symbols engraved there into his axe. And obviously minimal mould lines, which is fantastic. So you might have to do a little bit of scraping, but on this particular model I can't see anything with my old man vision. So I would paint these up. They don't appear to be resin or anything, so you probably don't have to wash them, but it never goes, it never hurts to wash them off just in case before you paint them. And I would prime them with a rattle can first, that's just me. But yeah, these are fantastic models. I really do like them. Each one looks brilliant. I mean, the spears might be slightly bent in a few places, but you know, look at the detail on that shield there. I do like that. It looks brilliant. So he's got a helm on of some kind, sword on his back, and a scabbard. But no, the basic idea of the game is whatever cards you pull, that's the tactics you go with. So the game will start, you will have your house, your raven, or you will have your clan bear, whatever you want to pick, fight amongst yourselves. There's 4 to choose from in this core set. And then what happens is there'll be a set number of cards delivered to you face down. And what you're supposed to do is pick one of these cards in secret, put the others face down, and pass to your opponent on the left. So I may get, let's pick a random selection here, those there, and a couple of the reds. So the cards will come as so. You will have quest cards, you'll have monster cards, you'll have upgrade cards. So your battle cards are your red cards. So when you're trying to pillage some land, or you're trying to jump on somebody who's pillaging land, you can use battle cards in secret, face down, and then they may play a card. And then when you're ready, both reveal your cards. Let's see what you got. So Loki's Trickery. If you ever lose combat, you keep your cards. If you win combat, you ditch the card. So this one specifically, it's quite tricksy, doesn't give you anything additional in combat, it's +0. But if you lose, you steal 1 rage from the winning player. So they might score 3 rage for winning the fight, but then you nab one. So even if you think, I've got one guy in this fight, they've got 5 guys in this fight, I'm not going to win. Put Loki's trickery down. That's pretty nice. But if you wanted to win a fight, for example, you have a +1 here. You might want to gain +1 in this combat. So when your fighters go against their fighters, you've got 3 fighters against your 3 fighters. That's 3 points versus 3 points. This could be the tiebreaker. You gain 3 glory if you win this battle. Well, if you already gained 3 glory anyway, that's 6 glory from winning that fight. So that's what the red cards do. They give bonuses to your combat. So sometimes they may not give the direct bonuses, +1 to hit, +2 to hit, whatever like that. It might be more the case of, if you lose this combat, you gain more glory, or steal glory. Or sometimes it'd be the case of you can instantly destroy one of their warriors before the fight even starts. Things like that. Pretty tasty. So the green cards are your quest cards. These are the ones that are worth the big points. These are the ones what you want to lean towards. So this one is Glorious Death. You have at least 4 figures in Valhalla before Ragnarok. So this one is brilliant because if you think, I'm not going to win many fights, put this quest down, top of your card, top of your, I nearly forgot what it's called then. I was going to say clan card. You can see it's new, it's nice and shiny already. And putting a quest down, obviously you put it face down because they don't know what quest you're going to do. Cost you nothing. So quests are free, pillaging is free. It's only when you spend an upgrade card, move models, or invade does it cost points. But this one here is 8 points at the end of that particular age, and that is age 2. We'll start getting these cards. 8 points, which is great. So that goes around the total of the edge of the board. And if you complete it, raise one of your clan stats by 1. So you might want to increase your rage, you might increase your axe, or your horns. So there's several ways you can increase your stats throughout the game. And that's one of them. Once again, Glorious Death. Amazing. Another age 2 card. So when you start off at age 1, like I said, the cards are okay. Age 2, cards get really good. Cards 3, they're brutal. So there's no limit on how many quests you can have in any age. So if I had these 2, they would stack. So if I got at least 4 figures in Valhalla before the age ends, I could get 16 points and 2 of my clan stats would increase. So this is an upgrade card. They're generally the black cards. Cost 2 of the rage to make it happen. But you put it at the top of your clan card, just there. But those have to be face up so everybody can see. So your warriors are now 2 strength. Normally, each warrior is only 1 point. So 1 warrior versus 1 warrior, 1 versus 1. It's a draw. But these guys now, that's really good. It's another level 2 card. This is what I was talking about earlier on. Fire Dragons. Cost 2 to upgrade your ships, but gain 8 glory when a ship is destroyed. So if you wanted your ship to be destroyed on purpose, that's a great card. And here is a monster card. So you can buy a Valkyrie. So a Valkyrie is one of the grey models, and you put one of your bases on it. Gain 2 glory per enemy figure destroyed in battle with this monster. Wicked. So you've got your upgrade cards, you've got your monster cards, you've got your battle cards, and you've got your quest cards. And when you pass your cards on to your opponent, obviously you'll receive a deck from your right. And you'll keep going until you've got a hand of cards. And I believe you're allowed 8 cards if you're playing with 4 people. So you'll keep a card, ditch the rest of your cards to your opponent face down. They'll do the same to their left, they'll do the same to their left until it comes to you if you're playing 4 players. Then you do the same thing again. You keep 1 card, ditch the others to your opponent, and you keep going around until you have 8 cards in your hand. And like I said, if you've got loads of cards that say, for example, that you can have more models dead, then you you might want to play towards that. Or if you want to win in combat, that's what you'll go with. So once all 3 ages have done, it's whoever has the most points. So as you can probably imagine, zoom out a little bit here, you all start at 0, and it goes to 100, but then you can always go round again. So in the 4 games I think I've ever played, I've been around 3 times. Not in one game, obviously. In each of those 3 games I've been around once. So I've got about 130 points. So obviously as you go around, if you win a battle, you get these number of points, depending on where your token is, for your battles won. Then you may have a card that says you can steal glory as well. And then you obviously have your quests, which go here. And that can earn you glory as you go around the outside as well. So there's several ways you can earn glory, depending on your quest cards, either dying, fighting, gaining land. So when you do gain certain areas of the map, you notice there's a grey section, there's a blue section, there's a yellow section. And certain quest cards will say more models or more strength in the yellow section, or Yggdrasil. Yes, that's right, I attempted a name. The Tree of Life. And that's how you gain your glory. And obviously at the end of the game, more glory you obtain during each age wins you the game. So it doesn't matter if you've lost the first age, you've only got 10 points, and everybody else is on like 50, for example. I find in this game you really can leapfrog right at the end of the game, because the quests are little points in the first age. Like I said, it does increase each age as you go through. But Ragnarok is the interesting one. So Ragnarok are one of the tokens you can press out, and it's face down when someone picks where does Ragnarok happen. So before the game starts, someone picks one of these at random. I haven't popped them out yet, like I said, they're brand new. And that's where Ragnarok happens. So Ragnarok means if it's already happened in an area, you can't put models down in that area. So you can't pillage that area. If you have put this token here at the end, well, sorry, not quite the end, just after you've totaled up your quests, you flip the token over, and let's say you've got Gimel, which is there. That's where Ragnarok happens next. Then you release models from Valhalla. So then you have 2 places on the table that you cannot visit, because they both have had Ragnarok happen. And then obviously the second age happens again. You have another place and another place. So, which means you have less areas on the map that you can pillage, which means when you get to the third age, there's a massive fight for certain areas. So you can imagine when you've got Ragnarok here, 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 there's only 3 or 4 areas you can go, so there's a massive, massive battle at the end. But I thoroughly enjoy this game. You can tell with my mad ramblings that I have played a few times. And if this has made sense to you, you'll see that I do actually enjoy the game. And I thoroughly recommend it. If you don't want to play the game, you just want to collect the miniatures, I don't blame you for that, because they are wicked good. So we have a dark elf here, monster. We have, who's this guy? Apparently this is a dwarf. Well, it's the skinniest dwarf I've ever seen, but he does have a beard, so that's okay. But those are the monsters. So the greys are the monsters, and then you've got your spearmen, your axes, and your hammers. But like I said, it doesn't make a difference if you have an axe over a hammer. It's purely number of models in a zone. So Ross from House of Chaos, that's me. I rate this game about a 9 out of 10. I really enjoy it. I think the models are gorgeous. Card stock is fantastic. Low number of tokens and weird things like that, so you haven't got to worry about dice So it's nice because you haven't got to keep track of many things, and what you have got to keep track of is right in front of you, so you can easily slide tokens along. So no faff, lovely models, excellent gameplay, and really, really easy to play. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Please hit that like button. Any comments are welcome, especially if you would like us to do more unboxings of board games or even battle reports on them. Okay, and remember to subscribe if you haven't done already. Take care, guys. Hobby safe.